Click here to start streaming. Here's the test. Is it right now? Can you hear me from now, or did you just hear about a minute's worth before? Sorry if you're confused. Hi.
Uh-oh. We've got feedback.
Oh,
We've got a lot of feedback.
this is awful, but you can hear us. That's not the problem we're having this time. It's hearing too much of us. Hey, Anna. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this.
Hi, Anna's there. Like, oh, I can see. Hi, girl. Great to see you earlier. I was
Cat as well.
Hi, Kat. I was hoovering my car out earlier, and I heard Lindsay, and it was Anna.
Ah, I'd love a surprise from Anna when I'm cleaning my car, but I don't ever clean my car, so I'm not really ever gonna get that situation.
Literally feeling so proud of myself. Like I was driving here, like it's just the inside that I didn't do the outside.
Wait, I've not even checked my oil in about 3 years. ADHD tech? Or just lazy stuff. Just lazy stuff. There's only so much I can really start attributing to that. Lou's there as well. Girls are in the house. Shout out.
We have a full house, which is very exciting because we want to hear what you've been up to during January using our fantastic guides to give you that push.
Push that you need. That ability to just track it as you're going, right? I feel like and I've experienced it. The reason I struggle to really stick to stuff is I just forget that that's even my plan in the first place. Having this, I just come down in the morning, I see it, and I'm like,
oh yeah, I'm meant to be doing this.
I have a purpose today and for the rest of this year.
I've been doing it with some of the students that I work with as well. So they reflected last week because I was like, by tomorrow when I've got them again, it'll be February the 1st. So yeah, and they are getting into the swing of it now. It's really nice seeing them starting to think, what can I challenge myself to this month? So yeah, that's been a massive win.
I love that. It's been a good week. I feel like I'm trying to think of what we've done since the last time. Have you seen the funny videos from you and
oh, me and Jem? Yeah, we had a get together at the weekend, didn't we? That was absolutely wild.
It was so fun, and shout out Jem, you are a performer. She's so absolutely funny. Great. You both are. Like, I don't mean to just send that to Jem. You are both so funny in those videos.
Jem just brings out my confidence though, because she's so confident. It just like literally we just bounce off of each other.
I know what you mean. And so many points that night that I looked at and I was like, God, I wish I was like you. I wish I could be that like And again, I don't think I could be like that without a drink. Which is really weird, isn't it?
Yeah, because you obviously can do it, but it's like that that needing to lower the inhibitions comes from the alcohol.
It's like I annoy myself if I've not had a drink, and I'm doing like I'll catch myself and be like, "Oh, you're annoying me." Like you're not even like pulling this off well. Like I suppose that level of drunkenness more just blocks out.
It's just
my assessment of myself.
Yeah, and that is such a common thing with autism, neurodivergency in general, is being one end of the spectrum or the other, where I totally lack awareness, but then I've been told by so many people, like, you're so embarrassing, you're embarrassing me, blah, 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 because they are so aware of themselves, but to a point where it's blocking them.
Exactly.
It's stopping them doing the simplest of things because they're like, well, what's somebody thinking? Or I'm thinking this, or,
yes,
it's debilitating.
It can really debilitate, or 100%.
My mum has always said that shyness should be a disability because growing up, she was so shy, and yet she wanted to go up on the stage and sing karaoke. Like you say, she'd be watching other people doing it, wishing she could be that person. And that being shy should be listed as a disability because it disabled her from being able to do those things.
100%. I feel like that is literally it, isn't it? It just numbs that part of yourself that is constantly looking at yourself, constantly assessing and negatively judging yourself. I know that I live with that constantly,
which comes down to self-esteem again.
Yeah, 100%. Being able to like block that voice it's a job and a half, but once you master that, And there's
Yeah.
so many areas in life that I have like managed to, I can walk down the street with a face full of eczema and be like, yeah, whatever. Although sometimes it's ridiculous trying to like ignore it because you're like, my face is so hot. I'm not supposed to like, I'm trying to not think of it right now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, before I would have just not left the house. So there's definitely
Definite
ways,
wins.
definite wins. Yeah,
Well, that's
100%.
what it's all about. And that's what today is going to be about, is talking about the fact that there's still wins even in fails,
There's technically no such thing as a fail.
as long as you try.
Yeah,
Not
100%.
trying is the only fail.
And I feel like just do the fact you had a go. If it didn't succeed, you've given yourself an opportunity to learn from stuff, learn about you that you wouldn't have been able to learn about yourself before because you weren't doing the thing.
Yeah, definitely. And the thing is, it's disappointing if it doesn't go the way that you wanted it to. Of course, it can be, but it's far more disappointing to look back on life and think, wow, there were so many missed opportunities that I could have at least tried.
Yeah, 100%. You're never on your deathbed regretting that you did do something. It's always that you didn't.
Unless you're
do
on
the
your
thing.
deathbed because of what you did. But I know what you're saying.
Good point.
That's my Sheldon-esque like kicking in there.
She's not wrong. Not wrong. I mean, stump me there. I'm just like, yeah, I can't argue that.
So, how has your New Year's resolutions gone then, or going, should we say?
So I said what mine were, but didn't I? At the start of the year, it was to stop smoking tobacco and to stop drinking alcohol. I have failed at both.
And can I say it's brilliant that you tried. Bravo, trying.
There was definitely some try in there, and there's also
The alcohol you forgot about though, right? Because I didn't want to interrupt,
Yeah.
but when you were saying about forgetting what your resolutions are, the initial fail was a complete just that you'd forgotten you weren't meant to be drinking.
Oh, yeah. So do you remember? I don't know if you've watched. If you're just joining in, hi, I'm Steph. This is Lindsay. We are tackling 12 different prompts throughout the year, and you should be too if you want to be bettering yourselves, or just reminding yourself that you can't hard to stick to stuff. Yeah. I picked two because I was like, I don't really drink anyway. That's going to be a really easy one to do.
Yeah, I'll definitely tackle that.
It turns out it was that easy because it's not like I've got an addiction on my back, really like,
Yeah,
you know,
barely drink
I
anyway.
do want that drink. It was a random Friday. I think it was probably like 4th day into January. And I was like, I was just in the shop and I walked around the shop in the same, I do the same
yeah, kind of order of
journey.
things,
Yeah.
yeah. Fresh fruit and vegetable first, and then the biscuit aisle, then the frozen, and then the alcohol.
Exactly. And normally I walk straight past that. And just for some reason I saw some Strongbow, dark fruit Strongbow, and I thought, oh, that sounds banging right now. I'm gonna drink it. Never really do I even think this sort of stuff. I was just like,
It's your brain sabotaging, like it knew somewhere you were not meant to be drinking, and it was like, oh, you know what you really like right now?
That is my chronic problem in life that I just forget that I'm not like. I always say nighttime me and morning me have never met each other. They don't agree on things. They have very different plans and what they want for me.
Well, if now when we're trying to go live, you're like, oh no, don't do that. And it was like, oh, why have I just done that? What you were telling yourself to do and what your hand was doing was two different things.
Yeah, being too conscious in life, you make way more mistakes. I just want to be like a little more autopilot, Very few planes crash on autopilot.
So how far into drinking were you when you realised you shouldn't be drinking?
2 whole cans. And to be honest, I was just finishing off the second and I thought, shall I leave the other 2 for tomorrow? Can I drink? Why am I polishing 2 cans off on my own? My partner doesn't drink. What am I doing? I've drank more during trying to stop drinking than I have
ever.
So, but yeah, them 2 cans are still in my fridge and they are going to be my reminder.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So product placement.
Exactly. Because I swear to God, every time I look in there, especially when I want to drink, and I'm like, but not that. And it do you know, just having I feel like if they weren't there, I'd be like, because I don't have a drink of choice either. It's just sometimes I like a fruity, do you know what I mean? And I think,
fruity
yeah.
drink.
And you watch it, we'll get to summer and I'll be like, oh, I want a fizzy fruit. And I'll forget again.
Yeah.
So I'm leaving them there to remind me.
Do you know how many people, because I watch a lot of the sober posts and stuff like that, and I'm reading a book about being sober at the minute, The Unexpected Joy of Being Sober, which is absolutely wicked. And so many people that are going through this journey would not be able to have alcohol in the house. So it's really like such a twist that
Yeah.
you've got the booze in the house to remind you not to drink. And it shows that you're not doing this through an addictive
Yeah,
thing.
I don't want to like put that as a tip to anyone that is struggling with alcoholism. Like, just
No,
to
but I
you
think
don't
it's,
need to necessarily in the first
yeah,
instances.
I think what's really positive though about what you're raising there is that alcohol doesn't need to be a problem to go sober and benefit from it, because
Yeah,
at the end of the day there are loads of health issues that come along hand in hand with alcohol. So I think a lot of people go, well, I've not got a problem with it, so I don't have to quit. Well, yeah, you might not have a problem, but it is bad for you and you'll still benefit from quitting. So it's a good point, because I think a lot of people measure whether they should be quitting alcohol on how bad you were, if you see what I mean. They kind of
yeah,
ask you a question, oh, were you drinking in the morning then? Because they're just checking that they're not that bad. They don't have to give up just yet
right.
because they're
Yeah,
not that bad yet. So I think it's really good because you're giving it up for completely different reasons to what somebody's already got an addiction to it, if you see what I mean.
yeah. I didn't quite realize it at the time. Like I said, I was just like, oh, I'll just pick two because one just seems a bit too easy. I'll do that and stop smoking. I've smoked tobacco since I was like 13.
Mm.
I'm 31 now, 32 this year. It's been a long time. So I have cut down
Yeah.
100%. I used to be at least every few hours.
So you're a bit more consciously smoke, because the thing is with smoking
Yeah,
is it's such a habit, isn't it? It's like you're just doing it for the sake of it. So um would you say that you're now just having them when you feel the need and the urge rather than
yeah.
doing it for the sake of it?
Before it would be like I'm driving somewhere, let me roll a cigarette, and then it would be there for the ride.
Yeah.
Now I don't even think about it. Before it was like I'd consciously be like, I'm not rolling a cigarette for this point
Yeah.
because I won't be able to roll it once I'm driving
Yeah.
anyway. I'm just not that skilled. So I would purposely not do it. Now I literally leave the house and it doesn't even cross my mind to
Oh,
think that
well,
is a time when I smoke.
hopefully gives you real hope for the fact that there'll be other ones that at the minute you feel like you can't live without, but
Yeah.
that your brain will form new pathways
Yeah.
and find a way around it.
That it is, isn't it? Your brain convinces you you need this right now, and
Oh,
if you don't have it, like I'm gonna kick off, and you're like, you know what? I will kick off. You're right, brain. Let's kick off. You're
the
like,
one
no.
thing the one thing that I have learned about addiction that I did not truly even think about before is that your brain, when it's addicted, tells you you're enjoying the thing that you're addicted to. So you actually sit there going, well, I don't want to give up because I enjoy it. But
Yeah,
actually that's the addiction talking. And that
100%.
was something I totally did not understand before, because obviously I've given up tobacco as well. And I'd not given up before because I enjoyed it, or so I thought. Now I've given up, I'm like, oh my god, I cannot believe I've got this far into life and only just given up now. I'm a bit annoyed with myself rather than celebrating the fact that I've done it.
No, yeah, I fully. I do you know what? I feel like we have concentrated on my side of it. The non-smoking, yeah, it's getting there, but I feel like the gradual reduction will be fine. Shout out to my boys and girls who have quit smoking because they have read a phenomenal book. So I'm going to pass it over to you now. How have your resolutions been going? You've
Well,
been failing just like me, haven't you?
but I read Alan Carr's Easy Way to Quit Smoking.
Which, by the way, is not Alan Carr's comedian.
Ian Alan Carr, which every single person thought it is until you read it and then quite quickly think, well, I can't smoking 40 a day. A wife, like,
I just thought, is he that funny? It's that convincing.
I honestly thought it was him and that it must have been some kind of side project. But then I realised that this dude, I mean, he's unfortunately he passed away a
So
while ago. Yeah.
it's written in mid-80s.
And that, may I say, is the corruption that you see with the tobacco companies and even the government, because the fact that this book has been around since the 80s and I'd never heard of it, the fact that the NHS aren't actively promoting it as a way to give up
Social
is
prescribing.
absolutely astounding. And I think that says it all, because the book works.
Yeah.
It works. It works in
Yeah.
the sense that it takes the willpower method and it tells you why you don't even need willpower, because you don't want to do it anymore. So whereas the willpower method is one of the other methods that people use, where it's like sheer, I'm just not going to, stubbornness, you feel like you're missing out still with the willpower method. With Alan Carr, you give up with ease because he talks you through the actual addiction,
That's what he calls it, the easy way, right?
It is easy. Like, this is why I almost feel embarrassed. I almost feel embarrassed taking credit for the fact that I've done it, because I credit the book.
Do you not even think saying quitting smoking's easy?
Is embarrassing.
Not embarrassing, but just like,
To be honest, I've not even put in my statuses, I've said the book made it simple, because I couldn't bring myself to like kind of say it's easy to quit smoking, because up until now I've not found it easy to quit smoking. So I don't want to be that person that's like, oh, it was easy, because I know how hard it was to even come to the. I was dreading New Year's Day, not being able to smoke. I was excited about the fact that it was going to be the start of this new me, but dreading how hard it was going to be. And yet, have you seen me struggle? Like,
not at all.
yeah.
Would you say you were as ready for it as not drinking? Like you said, like you were ready to start this journey, but also like, oh God, what am I going to do on New Year's Day?
I was far more terrified about this than not drinking.
Right.
And even that's saying something, because I loved drinking as well. But the only reason I even decided to do it was because through not drinking, every single brain thought of you're not going to enjoy life as much, but then I had, it made me think, I wonder if this will be the same with smoking.
Right, okay.
Because then my brain was like, but you're not going to enjoy going for a walk as much. You're not going to. And I was like, yeah, but you also told me that about drinking, and that wasn't true, was it? So that enabled me to counteract my thoughts. So that experience the year before definitely helped.
I think that's how I'm understanding, because doing it both at the same time,
Yeah,
it's almost
at the same time.
I've almost kind of given myself this comparison of something that I do have an addiction for, and something that I just want to see, because it's something that a lot of the world gives up for a period of time because they understand it's a problem, whether it's October, November, January, whatever month you or year, whatever people are deciding.
Some people will be on their last day of dry January and literally counting down till midnight to get back to drinking. And that's so unfortunate, because even that I feel like is a bit of a trap. Sorry, I know I've just totally cut you off.
No, and I always think if you're like, just have a drink.
Well,
that's the worst. Like, sorry, addiction, sorry, addiction specialist. But I mean, like, if it's that, like, you haven't quit.
That's the trouble with dry January. So I heard it on the radio. These presenters were chatting about it on the radio, and I had to email in because they were like, "Oh well, you know, dry January. I can't wait for it to end. Can't wait for Thursday. Blah blah blah." And I used to hate. I used to do Go Sober October, because my Bez's birthday's in January, so I could never go dry in January when we needed to celebrate a birthday. Because of course I believed that we needed alcohol to celebrate.
Again, a rule given to you.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you saw me Saturday, not one drop of alcohol. Was I acting like I wasn't drinking?
You've seen the video, right, that we were talking about before? Yeah, no. One person in that video was drinking.
Yeah.
And it was not Lindsay.
Yeah. But when I used to give up for a month, I used to hate it, couldn't wait to get back to drinking, and also not feel any benefits from giving up, because you don't give up for a month and you won't feel any benefits. It takes at least, I would say, 2.5 months to 3 months for you to start noticing that your brain feels different and that your body feels different, and you know, your sleep and everything like that. So for a month, it's almost part of the scam, because everybody does dry January or Go Sober October and then says, oh well, you know, it didn't even give me any benefits. What was the point? It can't be that bad for you. It like, kind of adds to the feeling that it's not bad for you.
Yeah, or celebrating how well you've done by, you know what, I deserve 20 beers tonight because I've not drank. You know what? Because I ain't drank for
yeah, I'm going to go back to drinking like doubly as much because I've not drank for a month. But
you know, it's like having that cheat day where you're like, I've eaten so well all week, and then it's just like, I'm going to eat 8,000 calories in 10 seconds right now. And it's like,
really, you may as well just kind of add moderation or whatever. And that's the other point actually with alcohol. When people talk about, oh, just moderation, it's addictive. So no wonder you can't moderate your alcohol. Either go with or go without. Just going without takes away all the stress for me, because I've not got to worry that one might lead to another and another might lead to bad decisions and that might lead to blackout and this is going to lead to anxiety the next day. I haven't got to worry about any of that now because I know I'm never going to drink again.
I do agree with that, with someone that thinks that or at least knows for sure that not drinking will benefit their lives. I think for the odd you know, like, there's certain people, like, I don't know, I can't think of any of my family members because they all drink heavily, but I know there's plenty of people that do that will just, you know, oh, I'm at a wedding, oh, I'll have a sherry, do you know what I mean? And it is very like,
yeah, my grandma, would be a good example of that. She would have the odd sherry at Christmas or a glass of wine at a wedding. Um, she'd never really drank heavily or whatever. So, you know, maybe that does work for some. But I think if my grandma had understood the health risks of alcohol, she would have just not touched it at all. She wouldn't have even bothered having that one. But you know, the health risks aren't all over the bottle. It doesn't say this
Yeah.
causes cancer on the bottle, even though it was listed. I think it was 2016. It was added to the carcinogens. Directly causes breast cancer. Don't see that on the bottle, do you? You know, it's a fact
Yeah.
that's hidden, and yet again,
Yeah.
it's the industries that are making money from it that aren't going to advertise these things.
100%. I think giving people the correct education, the correct information for them to then be able to make their own informed decision. Do you know what I mean? If people had all these facts and had all this knowledge, would they be still making the same decision?
And the thing is,
And
I
if they
smoked
were,
and I knew that it caused cancer, so I think, you know, yeah, people would still, but it's because it's addictive. And I think I don't know why it's drugs and alcohol. It should just be drugs. Alcohol is a drug. So, you know,
100%.
it's that separation of, but alcohol's okay, drugs are bad, alcohol's okay. Alcohol's probably worse
Yeah.
than a lot of the drugs. Like,
I mean, we don't want me to get into socialism and capitalism right now, but I can heavily explain
but we
why
will one day.
exactly drugs are drugs and
Yeah, well,
alcohol is not.
this is the thing. So, in terms of my main resolution of quit smoking, it has gone fantastic, and I could not have asked for a better outcome. But very much Alan Carr's Easy Way. Get on it. Thank you so much to my friend Hannah for saying about this book, because she came to see me. I don't know whether it was November time or something, and we was chatting away. And she had always been a smoker and always been trying to quit, and she didn't get a fag out or vape or anything like that, and that was really unusual. And then she says, "Oh no, I've quit." Told me about Alan Carr's Easy Way, and that gave me hope that I was going to be able to do it, because A, she had done it, and B, there's this magic book that's going to help me, kind of thing. And it did.
Wow.
It absolutely did. So I believe that we were meant to meet up that day. She was meant to tell me about that book, because without that book, I don't even know if I'd have managed it. I really don't think I probably would have managed it.
I'd love to show you what to react to, but there's nothing on this screen. For some reason, it's like, I don't know what you want me to see right now.
It's part of the conspiracy. They don't want us talking. Oh, there we go. Is that it? No. But
there we go.
yeah.
So is this is the book, right? He's got quite a few.
Yeah, it's got loads of different ones out, different versions.
I saw.
My friend listened to it on Audible. I read it. We both had the same result, so I don't think you necessarily need to read it over listening to it.
On this, you can try it for free right now if you haven't used that deal already.
Yeah, the Audible thing. So yeah, it just shows it's just as effective to listen, because I know that a lot of you ADHDers out there will say, I can't read a book, so listen to the book.
Yeah, 100%.
They actually offer a clinic. I think it's 350 quid or something like that. But they offer a money back guarantee if you don't walk out as a non-smoker, and it's 99% effective, in the sense that guarantee, only 1% of people call in the I want my money back, because that's how effective it is. Just go back up there, look at all the different things that that they apply it to. So cocaine, cannabis, opioids, gambling, emotional eating, sugar, all the things that we end up kind of ruling our lives, they do an easy way on. I mean, I can't say whether the others are as good as the smoking one, but look at me, smoke free for the first time since I was 12 years old. I'm 37 this year, so what's that? 25 years of smoking.
It's insane. It's really admirable. And if you're saying that it is all down to this, but I mean,
It is down to the book.
You're saying that I'm gonna have to be the test of this book. Both sides needs to come into hand, because you are also just a superhuman when it comes to setting your mind to something.
But like I say, I was dreading this, but I think it's because it helped me to understand that nicotine itself, although it's addictive and it's a habit, it's actually quite a mild addiction. Again, the NHS will have you believe that you need nicotine replacement therapy, that you need to do all these things to get off nicotine. But even just the points he was making, like, it doesn't wake you up in the night. You go, you might stop smoking at 10 o'clock at night, and you might not even have one till you get to work the next day. So that could be 10 hours, 8 to 10 hours of not having that nicotine, and you cope. The withdrawal is actually very mild. It's in your head, and that's what he helps you to undo.
Okay.
Even he says he says you will think about smoking for the first few days or whatever, you know, and then the next few weeks you'll think about it. But when you think about it, instead of thinking, oh, I really want a cigarette, you think, I'm so glad I don't smoke anymore. So it's changing the thought space that it's actually consuming you. So obviously at first when I was thinking, oh, I could just have a fag though, it's like, instead of thinking, oh, I really want one and I can't have one, but I can't have one, what you're thinking is, oh, I'm so glad that I don't smoke. I suppose it's a bit like manifestation. How we say, I'm so happy and grateful that.
It sounds a lot like cognitive behavioral therapy.
Yeah.
A very like changing the thought pattern, which will then change the behavior.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
It's very clever.
Nice at recommending it. So they don't put their name to stuff unless it's actually got tons of research behind it.
And
so they're into it.
The other thing as well is that big companies, big companies like Virgin and Apple and things like that, pay for his company to go in and support their employees to give up smoking. Now, these big companies wouldn't be putting their money behind, they just wouldn't pay for these things, but they understand that it's going to feed back into the company. So
yeah, how many people are outside having a fag break? Hey, get back inside.
And then being off ill because of the health issues and all the rest of it. I mean, today was the first day, there were 31 days in, that I woke up and didn't feel kind of groggy in the morning, and I really started to think, oh wow, you know, those energy levels and just that vibrancy for life. Like this month, I've felt so good about myself, but it's because I've kicked a habit that I've wanted to kick for 25 or 20 years. Let's say 20 years, but probably the first 5 years, I was like, yeah. But for many, many years, I've gone to bed thinking, I'm going to die of this tomorrow. Tomorrow you need to give up. And then the next day, I'd just put it all out of my mind and I'd carry on. And then it's the same cycle every single night. And not having to go through that has gave me, I think it's an act of self-love that's then benefited my mental health, mentally as well as physically, because obviously addiction, it's made me realize, oh my goodness, addiction is so bad for ADHD.
100%. And it kind of touches on like the whole Buddhist you know, that whole letting go of attachments, these things that we think that we need in life, whether it's money, cars, but even down to alcohol, cigarettes, being mean to people, you know, just, if I don't tell them how I feel, then if I don't get that off my chest, then, you know what I mean? Like feeling like, well, they did this to me, so I have the right to yell at them. If you let go of these, makeup is a really big one. All these different things, if you let go of these attachments, you realize it is an act of self-love. Through doing that, you empower yourself to not need anything but love and community.
That's really good point, because in here, two of them is a week without something and a month without something. But going with, if makeup's a big attachment, going, you know, a week without makeup, that, because I'm blessed in the sense that, again, because I lack awareness and I just don't care what I look like, I'll get up and just go to work. I've never wore makeup.
I thought you were going to say I'm blessed in the sense that I'm really attractive, so I don't need it. I agree, but you can't talk like that.
Can you imagine?
I'm really lucky in the fact that I'm drop dead gorgeous.
I've got.
I wouldn't need to do that one.
I've got makeup on now, but it's like, you know, I've never, even before now, I've been told off at work for not making an effort. I got pulled in by this was working in a mainstream school, and I was working with year 6 children. That were impressionable as well. They were classed as the behavioural kids, which they totally weren't. They had a bit of character. They were lovely. And the headmistress pulled me in and was like, "You need to make more of an effort." And she pointed out another girl that I worked with and said, like, I don't want to say her name, but she always looked gorgeous, you know, really well turned out. And I was like,
"Do you mean does she wake up?"
But I was like, "Do you mean you want me to wear makeup for work?" Like, I mean,
it's not okay.
It blew my mind. It really blew my mind. But I was like, oh, okay, people notice these things. But yeah,
I thought I was a teacher, not an air hostess.
Can you imagine the freedom that those girls that do feel the pressure to put makeup on before they leave the house? Because that must be an extra half an hour to you, at least, to your day.
Yeah, I think it would. It would not be for the faint-hearted if you're someone that relies. I know, I love my makeup. I don't know what I'd do without it. But if it wasn't for my eczema and getting used to that, I think I'd be like my mum. You'll never see her without makeup if she's going outside or whatever. I remember I went on holiday to Cyprus with my dad and I took her makeup with me, thinking like, She won't notice. All week. She was like, I couldn't go to work. I couldn't do this. I couldn't go to Asda.
I
She was
think
like,
that's a generational thing there as well, because I watch a lot of Judge Judy, and in one of her books, she did say something like, "Never let your man see you without liquor," because that's what he'll
yeah,
always remember is you looking at your worst. And I think
bit backwards, right?
there's a generational thing there that women had to make an effort.
If you don't do this for your man, you'll
Yeah.
lose him. And it's like,
And yeah, and I think there's probably that element there that, that's, it's like you say, it's an old fashioned point of view that you have to. And probably
Yeah.
this is what this headmistress was suffering from when she pulled me into the office and was like, "How dare you turn up to work with that makeup on?"
Yeah, definitely. It fits into that. The fact that that putting makeup on is somehow more representation. Like, if anything, as a teacher, I would rather. I remember there being a teaching assistant that I had, and she'd sit next to me helping me, and I would stare at the layers of caked on foundation in her skin, and I'd just be like,
Like wanting to kind of scrape it.
yeah, it was nothing like my mum's makeup. My mum had like a very simple makeup routine, but this woman, like, she must have been doing like what we do now, the baking and the stuff like that back then in the
And
early
the
90s.
products would have been awful.
Yeah, it was just like, everything was probably from Avon, but it was just like powder on powder on powder, but it also looked wet, but it was definitely not the colour of her skin. And I always
Oh.
remember staying around this person's house because their kid was at the school
I was
with me.
going to say, that's like a safeguarding issue.
She was also
You
my
stayed around
child.
the house.
She was my childminder as
Yeah.
well. Like, everyone did every job
Yeah,
back then.
yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
And
Real community spirit.
yeah, and I just remember thinking, again, I won't say her name, but like, her face is half makeup. And
Bless her.
cut me off. I've got ADHD. I don't need that distraction.
Yeah, I had to put you off your work because you were too busy thinking, if I ran my nail through that, would there be a track? What colour's her skin underneath that?
It's literally like, if you were to gouge your makeup anyway, that was what it'd look like.
So there you go, like, here was me going to a primary school trying to really change these kids' lives, and not when makeup was the right thing, because they'd have been
Yeah.
distracted by it otherwise.
I think especially the age that you teach at, because they're already at their age where they're putting makeup on themselves. You know what I mean? Where they're like,
Yeah.
I need to go out with this. If they had an example set that, no, you don't.
Yeah, you don't have to. I think that's a good thing. But like I say, that's why I put it out. That was in mainstream. I'm now in alternative, which is far more supportive. But anyway, back to the guide then. What did you pick for this month? Which kind of prompt?
So the prompt I chose was a week with vlogging.
Oh, very cool.
So I started off. Let's see, notes.
Yeah, that's mine. Something new.
So I chose this because I need to improve my cinematography skills. A week seems less stressful to me than when we did the Vlogmas thing.
Yeah.
And it will help me to structure my day. I feel like it keeps me accountable to a certain level, and it definitely does.
Yeah.
However, also again highlights how boring my day is. I don't know how else to go about that.
The thing is, you don't, because what I do is I put notes when I have like a thought about, oh, that'd make a good bit of content. I add it to my notes, and then when I've got 10 minutes, I just record myself talking about that.
Yeah,
thing.
batch content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even because I think you perhaps set your standards too high for yourself, where you feel like these vlogs have got to be super exciting, but they could just be you talking about a topic that we discuss here.
Yeah, 100%.
Because you've got so much knowledge, you could literally pick, I don't know, a different topic and just talk about it for 5 minutes, and that could be your vlog.
Yeah, you know what? Again, it's the doing it. I'm like, oh, that's a great idea, and then I'll write it in the list. That's a good thing to
Okay,
do.
and then the physical doing it.
Yeah, but I did get more done, more recorded, if you like.
Yeah.
Than I wouldn't normally do. Like,
Do you think the week thing helps then? Like the just having to commit to for a week was far more, what's the word? Kind of like supportive than if it was you've got to do this all year now.
It was more that it was good to show that just trying to do something like just being like, oh, I just need to do a week. It was actually a little more harder. I feel like it was something as halfway through I thought, oh, I wish I'd given myself but that helps me reflect that I'm someone that, I get a task set and I don't do it straight away.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people like they'll get their homework on a Friday
Yeah.
and they'll get it done just knowing that their whole weekend is now free.
Yeah, I
I
work
will,
with a deadline much better. If it's due in
yeah,
Wednesday, I'll do it Tuesday night with like hours to spare. But that's when my
I know.
brain kicks in and works. So,
And when I was at school, it generally worked for me. It was quite easy. But
mm,
as an adult, it's more than just homework. You're like,
yeah.
okay, I did that, but also I've not washed up for 3 days, and I've not washed my own hair, and I've not
Yeah, so there's
brushed my own
lots of
hair.
things that are all demanding your attention.
Yeah, and I think it's just about getting this like. I think just adding a week of something
Mm.
is it highlighted how much stress I've got already,
Yeah,
and to get all that in line would help me with that week or with that month
yeah.
doing something.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? It's all about reflection and learning, and goes back to what we said at the start that the only fail is not trying. You know,
100%.
it's and I was talking about on my TikTok account, I was talking about a specific subject to do with school, and I was saying that learning to put effort into something is itself way more important than the result,
Oh,
because
100%.
that's what's going to keep you going through life. So I've got students that are very much like, oh, what's the point? And I'm like, I get it that you can already see that that's not going to be helpful for life, like the essay comparing this advert to that report. I get it, but the point is applying yourself and trying and putting in effort is going to be something that's useful for life.
Yeah, if you can master that with comparing something in an essay, then when it comes to actually applying yourself to an adult lifestyle, you're like, huh, I've got this skill because
Yeah,
I
because like
practiced
you,
it on an essay.
yeah, because like you say, doing the parts, like all these demands, you're just not prepared for it, are you? When
Yeah,
you're in this blissful bubble as a teen, like, oh yeah, it's never going to happen. Well, I'm never going to be an adult. You just
yeah.
cannot see further than 3 months ahead, which I'm not sure if that is an ADHD thing or a teenager thing.
I
Because
think it's a teenager thing.
yeah, I think it probably is. Because obviously, I always think, well, that's how I was as a teen, but I'm also ADHD, so
I feel like every teenager is like, just let me be older and I can prove to you how
yeah,
being an adult's so much easier than what you're trying to make it out as. Then
like
you get
let's
here,
laugh.
hate it. But it's weird because I remember thinking that as like reception age, when you first start
Mm,
school, thinking, I just need to be a few years in and I'll be like confident.
yeah.
And then you're a few years in, you're like, I kind of miss those tinier chairs. Kind of miss how we just had to colour in. You're like,
Yeah.
wait a second, I wanted and
And
I
that's
still didn't learn.
the beauty of hindsight, is such a common saying, because it is,
Why can't I learn?
well, I think it is, life is very much about, learning things a year too late almost, like it's like when you look back on holiday photos at how skinny you were, and at the time you thought you were fat, and then you're like, no, but now I'm really fat, like I wish I was. I mean, mine's with
I know what
my
you mean.
my crow's feet and my wrinkles.
Mine's with
it
my chin.
it's like
Around here.
every single year I think I'm wrinkly until it gets to the next year, and then I look back on the photos or whatever and I'm like, oh my god, you weren't, now you are.
I know what you mean. I used to look at my face and be like, you've got such a chubby face, you've got no like bone structure, it's just a round face. And now I look at my thing and I do everything I can to contour that stuff to bring it in. But then I look at old pictures and I'm like, girl, you've got no bags. You've got, what do you mean? There's no features at all. You look
Yeah,
like
you're like,
a newborn baby. What's wrong with
take
you?
me back to that phase. Brilliant.
Oh, it's hard. It's hard.
So if
It's hard.
anyone younger out there is watching us right now, just literally appreciate it all. Like, be blessed with everything that you've got right now.
Yeah, literally. If you are, if it ever crosses your mind that I just need to be a bit older and stuff's gonna be easier, get that out right
Yeah.
now. Just like open up the head where that part is, reach in. Don't get anything else because that might ruin your brain. Get that specific thought
Yeah,
and just
take it. One of the things that I've been doing again with my students, because I'm so trying to teach them things that are actually going to help, is we've been journaling.
I love that.
Like really forcing them every lesson. Just write how you feel, and it's like, I feel great, bored, okay, great, bored. But the point is, we've started it in January. By May, they'll get it, because then they're going to look back at something they wrote in January and be like, oh, weird, past me wrote that, and now I'm future me. Ugh. And it's that
Yeah.
that I'm trying to give them the gift of that. And it was only because I found some diary entries from when I was about 14, 15. And it's like, hey, older Lins, have you got a massive house and a rich husband? Let's all
Well,
laugh now. And it's those I had such expectations for me. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry, that I was like, wow, no. No, you've not even got a house, mate. Like, never mind a husband, never mind a rich one. No, 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 none of these things. So I'm trying to kind of get it into their heads now that that things you do now, future you will be so happy for,
100%. And also, future you might look back and be like, what on earth?
Yeah, and it is that the beauty of hindsight thing. If we can, the quicker we can learn, oh my goodness, I need to be appreciative of what I've got now,
Yeah,
the better.
it's about being true to you in that moment and living in the here and now. Because other than that, you can't fault yourself. If you look back and you're like, oh, that's cringe, you're like, at least I was being me. Do you
Yeah,
know what I mean? There's
exactly.
nothing worse than looking back being like, oh, that was so cringe. I was trying to be someone I'm not. Which again in
Yeah,
itself is a learning curve.
definitely. See, I'm
But
not sure. In my teens, I was definitely cringe, but I was always just trying out new versions of myself. I don't think I was.
oh, I was coming home, looking in the mirror, pretending like this is what you'll do tomorrow, and then going to school the next day and crumbling. I'm being like, you're not that person though. I won't try.
I used to practice my handwriting and change. I'd write out the whole alphabet and then create a style for each letter that I'd be determined I was going to maintain, and then not.
I know what you mean. I remember, yeah, when you look at the older girls' handwriting and they've
Mm.
got that like cool A's with the thing on the top and like a love heart for a
Or they
thing.
like have that slanty, beautiful kind of curved like writing, and then I'd be constantly changing how I was going to do my writing and not sticking to it.
My handwriting's awful. What's yours like?
I A lot of people compliment me on it, but that's the right. Oh, there we go. But that's kind of in between me trying and not trying. If I'm really
Oh,
trying, it's really bubbly and round and like quite nice. But
I'm the
if I'm
same.
taking notes, it's horrendous.
I'm the same.
Yeah, I like
Just
your
like
writing.
it's just so many styles in one.
Yeah,
But
mine is.
I like handwriting. I used to write stuff over and over and over again. But anyway,
So
how's yours?
mine this month was trying something new, is what I went for. So I've highlighted the box that I've gone for, and I tried breath work,
Okay, yeah.
which, oh my God, if if you try one thing this year,
I
make it breath work.
yes.
It's so hard work, which sounds ridiculous. Even like last night, was it last night? Yeah, Tuesday. To get me there, I was, I felt really panicky. I've been quite tired. I've had loads on, and I was like, oh, I could just do with the evening to myself. I don't want to go. Maybe I shouldn't go. Maybe I should listen to my body and not go. And then I was like, but you feel like this before and then enjoyed it. I think you should go. And I went. And then as soon as it started, last night we were going, so two breaths in, like, so you're breathing in as much as you can, then breathing in again. And it's really hard work. And my fight or flight kicks in. I told you that the first time, didn't it? My body is screaming, just stop. It's horrible. It's like exercise, having to get through those first kind of
Yeah.
5-10 minutes. It's really, really hard work. But if you've got kind of healing that you want to do, inner work that you want to do, you've got anxiety, you've got depression, you're a spiritual person, you want to connect more, any of those things, just try it. Like, it is so insane.
So
Every single time's different.
before you describe it, what's the setup like? So you go to a space and are you lying down? Are you
Yeah, it's
sitting
kind of
down?
like a yoga vibe, like
Okay.
yoga mats, sleep
Facing the front.
masks. Yeah,
Oh, sleep masks.
yeah, and blankets. So it is all about just getting really comfy.
Okay.
I lay on my back with a blanket over me and a sleep mask on. But you are allowed to move. So last night I had an experience where, and I had this on the first time as well, which I thought was interesting. The first time, I just don't think I understood it. I knew that I didn't feel like I'd released it properly. But yeah, so last night I had this kind of build up of tension and pressure in my legs that got more and more intense, like pins and needles kind of thing, like someone sitting on my legs. Um, and I started to. You're allowed to move. You see, you can do whatever you want. It's quite intuitive. So I started to like wriggle my feet a little bit, which felt really hard, and trying to like kind of shift it. And eventually, I felt this sensation move all the way up my body. Um, and the whole point is you kind of. So for me, I was like breathing in pride and freedom and letting go of shame. So it's like you're kind of just concentrating on the breath constantly. Um, and just by doing it, it's really hard to describe, and especially because everybody else is going to have such a different experience, but it felt like this blockage that I was getting a lot of clarity of thought over what the blockage was, Um, eventually I managed to wriggle it until it got out of my body. You know, this sensation eventually had gone, and you feel afterwards. I just felt so clear of mind, so empowered. I mean, I've had one experience where I was crying through quite, and I felt quite emotional and quite down with the tears. But last night I was crying,
Oh,
and it was like happy tears. You know, it's very very strange. If you feel like you've got trapped trauma or past things, issues, anything that you want to get rid of, so
suppressed emotions by the sounds of it.
yeah,
You're releasing them
yeah,
after.
it's very very intriguing. And the other thing is, you get absolutely off your nut. So, you know, I'm sober, as it were, but I get high as a kite off my breath. One time I needed to go to the loo halfway through, and I kind of like sat up and I was like, I'm just going to nip to the loo. I was like, felt like I was off my face. I was like bouncing off the walls. My vision was funny. I was like, oh my God. So
That's
it's,
funny.
yeah, it's absolutely brilliant for so many different reasons. That's just caught my eye on the chat about I loved it when I upgraded to a fountain pen. So you know, like the handwriting talk.
Yeah.
Switching from breathwork straight back to
But,
fountain pens.
but there was two kind of fountain pens. There was the one that was like
The
two
inky ones.
things and they were like two wide ones and they
Yeah,
were like scratchy.
yeah.
Or there was the one that was like still more round. It just touched
Yes.
the page with a bit more. That was the one.
See, they were my absolute nightmare because I'm left-handed. So the minute they made us write with fountain pens, and my mum was like coming into like you can't read her writing. She's either having
Smudging
to
it.
yeah, she's either having to hold a hand off the page, which was affecting my writing, or she's smudging it. And they were like, no, she's got to write with a fountain pen because I've really written with one since. That really prepared me for life. Cheers. But again, it comes down to these rules that we know you have to do it. Why do you have to do it?
Oh, in that case, let me get a quill. Let's go real far
Yeah,
with it.
I've got a quill tattooed though. It's like, hold on. Hey.
Let me Samuel Pete this shit.
I don't know whether Charlotte will remember this, but my best friend in primary, when we had fountain pens, we used to, yeah, even so. Lou saying I love changing the ink cartridges. We did. What we would do is we would push the ink cartridge into the pen to break the seal, and then take it back out, and then make little nappies for it, and would as our pictures. And like as the ink would like leak, we'd change the nappy. And then like once all the
Wait, no, I'm confused. What?
yeah.
Wait. What was the What was the what had
What
a
was the
napper?
pet? The actual ink cartridge itself. Do you remember the little plastic ink cartridges that you would get?
Yeah, it was just a long, little
Yeah.
thin, long.
Yeah, we'd get a little bit of blotting paper and wrap it around the end and put like something to secure it, probably elastic band. And then eventually you'd see the ink obviously seep through and be like, oh, time for a nappy change. Weird. We had some, me and Charles were very, the reason we bonded, I think, because we were both so weird. Just gonna hate that I've shared that live on it.
I'm, but like an ink cartridge doesn't. I don't want. I'm trying to pick this apart. I should just
We
leave
were
this,
10.
shouldn't I? Just put it down. An ink cartridge looks nothing like a baby, other than it leaks.
Yeah, that I think that was the thing. I mean, like how Lucia said that she's laughing at that. So it's she just said that she loved changing the ink cartridge. I think it was probably the first time we'd done something that felt quite adult. You know, we were 9 or 10, we're being trusted with this operation of changing an ink cartridge. It was quite a big deal. And the other thing we found was that when we rinsed them out and cut them open, the little ball that you popped in was inside of it, so we'd collect them.
I've always wanted to get to that little ball bearing.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't realize I had to change its diaper plenty of times.
We did want to be vets. Maybe it was something to do with the whole looking after things. But coming back to my other, so breath work, try it, because that's something that's now staying in my life. I'm never gonna let that go. Even
So,
though, again,
whiplash from fountain pens to
no
breath work, but
we're
no,
very
I'm with you.
ADHD here.
I'm with you.
Even though again last night I was laying there like, what am I doing? I hate this, blah blah blah. And then by the end of it, I was like, I love this. It's got to stay in my life, blah blah blah. Which I think this is the beauty of these books, that I'm not going to forget about breath work because it's now in here. But the other thing that I tried was Morris dancing.
So you've sent us videos, haven't you, so we can laugh at you?
Yeah, so the video though, it's got my mum on it, and I know that she does not. I've not asked her, but I'm pretty certain that she wouldn't want me sharing it.
Otherwise, we'd be showing Lindsay in her full Morris dancing glory. But we respect
well,
Mama Alison.
I'm sure as well that Lee's probably like praying, the worshipping the ground my mum walks on, the fact that that's kept me off live air, Morris dancing. But I'm going back next week, so I will get them to film just me, and I will share with you my Morris dancing experience, because the fact I'm going back says it all.
When are you going back?
Tuesday night, are you gonna come?
I am
Is it
kind of
Fawn?
tempted.
It's Fawn, so it's right near you.
If we're allowed to film it, then that could be something fun to show on the
Yeah.
12-hour stream.
Yes, which we will get to in just a moment. Yeah, so Morris dancing was the other thing that I tried, and I think that
Like, can we just have a? Like, we can't move on very quick. Morris dancing. Hey, don't know what Morris dancing is. I should probably
yeah. So this came about because of these books. My mum's got one as well, and she was then obviously pushed to pick one of these. She'd gone, and then she saw Morris dancing advertised in the newspaper as like a come along and try it and see if you have fun type thing. And she thought, brilliant, I've got to try something new. I'll do Morris dancing. So it's the example of how these books are working. Lou, who's in the chat, tried kickboxing. You know, it's pushing people to try things because they're
Yes.
feeling accountable to the book.
Lou
Nancy's
and
office. If
Stace,
Nan's
I remember
available,
them
Yeah.
both
transfer
talking
you on
about
Zoom
how they're
call.
doing kickboxing this week
Yeah.
and how it was full contact literally from the first
The
time in
minute
the
their heads
go.
kicked in.
Yeah, and even just holding the pads, like the pain that they felt from like areas
Yeah.
that they didn't know they'd had. And if there is a better like way of reflecting, like without you've got no choice but to reflect when you are sore from exercise. I was gonna say sore from alcohol. It's a whole different thing. But yeah,
You
sore
sore
from
alcohol.
and you can have that. It's a great constant. Oh yeah, that's why you feel good after that first bit of exercise. Because
No.
dopamine, you are giving yourself like, yeah, I did that, and you
Yeah.
can't forget that you did that until 3 days after,
Yeah.
4 days after, when the pain is wearing off.
Morris dancing. The next day, my legs were aching. The third day, you know, under your butt, that kind of area, is it like your hamstrings? Is it? When I was running up the stairs, I was like, "Ooh," and I thought, that's from that Morris dancing. I mean, it was really hard work. It was not easy, and again, good for the brain because you're trying to think of the steps, the arm movement, keeping time with the music.
Yeah.
I found it absolutely brilliant. Loved it.
Oh, let's show
here we go.
the
This is it.
ladies and gents. I'm gonna turn
It's a very
thing off.
traditional.
Here's Lynn's. If you're not from the UK, you're probably like, what on earth? And
The one that we were doing that I loved is called Black Rod. And
oh, I didn't know that was a name.
oh yeah, see if you can find the Black Rod dance.
This might be freaking me out.
Well, it's Black
Have you
Rod.
seen
Black Rod's all
black.com?
one word because it's the actual place that it originated from. So the name of the dance will be the place that it came from. So I learned a lot as well, which was exciting. Here we go.
Find low views so there's no adverts.
It's the up down bit, like
Let's take it away.
like this was the posh bit that we did at the end where they were skipping out. They've got a good twist on theirs. I'll have to take this on Tuesday. But it's this
Wait,
bit.
he looks like me.
So have you been secretly Morris dancing and not telling us? That was the start move that they just did. Yeah, it did. Like, you just accidentally found yourself there.
And you were like, that's the one. I was like, that's so funny.
I love it.
I want to
Look how
go.
energetic it is.
Yeah, I'm down.
It's
That
nice
is-
work.
That is the skinnier version. She's looking great.
Bravo, ladies. Bravo.
Don't we want to see Lindsay do that?
Yes, you certainly do, surely. So next month then, have you decided which prompt you're going to tackle?
Nope.
Well, to be fair, we've been invited to do a winter sleep out to raise money.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So I've
How would this
never
fit into?
I've never camped in winter, but it would fit and do something purposefully because we'd be raising money for a really good cause.
I think I've already got something for purposefully.
It would also be do something new.
Winter camping is definitely
I mean, you could even do it as pick up where you left off, because last year camping was something that you actually remember.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what? Pick up something you let where pick off where you left off. It got cold, but it didn't get as cold as I think it's gonna be on this
It's
camp. So
yeah, it's going to be a real challenge.
don't worry, it's all vloggable content.
Do you know what? Like, there's so many things these days that I do because I'm like, well, if anything, it'll make a good, it'll make
Content.
good content.
I know what you mean. I've done so much. This last year has been insane, which is another great thing to reflect on.
We're on
By the way.
reaction cam still.
Oh,
See, check me. I even know the terms.
yeah, I can't. She's in there. Thank you. I
So-
appreciate that. Left us in a tiny little corner for too long.
So would you say that vlogging then is opening your experiences in general? It's kind of a two-way thing. You made vlogging your first
Yeah.
prompt, but actually vlogging itself is forcing you out of your comfort zone a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. In so many ways than I thought. Because I thought, like I said there, just in the cinematography skills, I want to get better at editing. The whole, like, it holds me accountable. Like, daily schedules. I feel like it's something that if I'm trying to implement a schedule that I can stick to, that is one that, you know, people post their workouts, people post their like progress pictures and stuff like that. I feel like it's exactly that, but it's just all of my life needs a schedule, and I'm going to document all of how it all needs a schedule.
I was going to use my social media as my quit smoking journey and like to keep me accountable. And then I think I've done one or two posts because I'm like, oh, I've quit.
Completed it, mate.
And I'm like, other than keep going, use the Alan Carr easy way, I don't really know what else to say about it. Because I thought I'd be genuinely like on walks going, I had to come out for a walk because I'm really like desperate for a fag. I really thought they're the kind of videos I'd be making and I'd be calling out for people to help me. And it's just not worked out like that. Which I'm so glad about that.
It sounds like I forgot that I wasn't drinking and you forgot that you were ever a smoker.
Yeah, totally.
That's all
I
good.
have totally forgotten that.
So, oh, sorry.
No, I was going to announce about tomorrow. Is that where you were going as well?
No, really quickly, I wanted to say a big congratulations to you because
no. Oh, okay.
If you haven't known, if you haven't found out yet,
that is so cute.
Lindsay has passed her theory bus test.
I certainly have.
Still waiting for the physical
Physical
exam.
is coming.
Practical's coming, but we are
one step closer to me being a bus driver. Hey, oh, that is so cute. Thank you very much.
A huge congratulations and well done. Like, when did you even have all the things that you're doing as well? And then you're just like, oh, I just studied for a test and just passed it. You've got 10 times more hours in a day than the rest of us, lady, and I'm waiting for an explanation.
I know. The only explanation I can say is hyper focus. It's just got to be hyper focus. It just works well for me. Look how tanned my skin is. I'm like mesmerized. Like, bring back summer. Or is that just your beautiful editing?
No, to be fair, it's a different. But you have got a picture of you like that in front of a bus, but that's a different picture of the bus. That's during
No, I love. Oh, thank you. And roll on summer when I've got a tan and that I'm a bus driver.
Beep, beep, and we're all driving down the spotters in your local motorway.
One of students calls it. I don't want to. Oh yeah, we can swear actually, can't we? Because we're adults. But he calls it the bollock bus, and every morning he's like, "Welcome to the bollock bus." I'm like, "Morning, mate." Like,
where the bollock bus?
I think because it's a swear word beginning with B and it's alliteration with bus. I think that literally is where that came from. But I have got a T-shirt at home from when I was in Magalore, and it's the bollocks bar. So I feel like I could just like literally change AR to US, and I've got the T-shirt.
I thought more young people would be using the term bussy. Which, sorry for saying that.
What's bussy mean?
A bussy is a.
God.
It's gay terms for like a man's beat butthole, but like
they probably didn't even just learn that, kids.
It's the. It's like a boy pussy, but pussy.
Oh, we heard it here first. I've got a boy pussy.
But there's like certain jokes with it. Say you're really into cars, that's cussy. Because like it does the same to you as a woman does. So
this dude is into cars, so I'm gonna call him a cussy. Let's see him next week.
Yeah.
Yo.
Oh, cussy.
Then I'll probably get sacked.
Don't do
that. Tomorrow, I wanted to tell you guys that tomorrow we will be going live yet again for our second instalment of the Odd Job Task Force. We've actually got a cool name for it now.
Yes,
We didn't have a name
parallel
before.
parallel vibe tribes or whatever it's called, long and gone.
Yeah, well, we
Decided.
kind of knew it'd be slightly too long, and parallel's really hard to spell. Whereas the Odd Jobs Task Force, brilliant. So if you want to clean something alongside us, it doesn't even have to just be cleaning. We had somebody washing their hair last time, painting their nails, organising, picking this, catching up with
Yeah.
your reflections on the first one, you know, all sorts. Anything that doesn't give you that dopamine kick and doesn't make you want to do it with us, so that
Yeah.
hopefully it makes it that little bit more attractive.
It's that task you've been putting off, in it. Like when
Yeah.
I think of it, for an example, we are doing
Doom
rooms. You haven't seen the post? A doom room is a space in your house or living area which is not used for living areas
It's just
activities.
become a doom space.
Yeah, you put stuff there, it goes to die, you forget about it, and the door is always closed.
The Shizen drawer.
So our goals for these doom rooms is to be able to open that door, to let the air flow through with all
Yeah.
that good energy and all that good chi and clear up some space. So I'm sure you've got something in your house or something you need to do.
Usually it's that drawer in the kitchen, in it, that's just got, you don't know where else it's meant to go, so it all goes in there. And we're not saying that you need to get rid of it all, but clear through it and get rid of things you can. It just makes you feel so much better afterwards.
100%.
But it's not enough to get you to start the task.
Yeah. Oh, maybe you've got a self-assessment tax thing coming up, because that's boring.
Tax doesn't have to be taxing. Isn't the deadline of that today? So if you have got self-assessment, tomorrow night would be a really good opportunity to actually get it done, because you're going to get fined.
That's so me. It's never be done by today. Oh yeah, that'd be it. Oops.
I'm sure it's today. So if we are reminding you right now that you've got a tax self-assessment to do, then tomorrow night may well be the opportunity to get it done.
Yeah, 100%. It's that whole moment reminded me of when you came in. You were like, "There's a key on the bathroom floor," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's just how I live, mate." And that's exactly the same. But do you want it? Do you want it? I'm like, "Sure, thank you."
I wasn't sure if it was being left there as a reminder. You know, like we've spoke about that before, haven't we? Leave things in the middle of the floor, then you think, why is that? That's good. That needs doing. That's how a doom room starts.
There's so many bags of stuff that I've just collected, like, bits from around the house just to make that room tidier.
And then just put it in the doom room.
Yeah, there's several of those bags.
You might find some really exciting things.
And then I get hyper focused and not clean anything.
Yeah. Well, my main aim is to make piles, as in pile for things to go to the tip, pile of things that can be sold, and pile of things that can go to charity.
That's a good shout.
I think that's a really good way to approach a doom room.
Then I shall be doing the same. So that is tomorrow at 8:10.
Yeah.
On
I was going to say we're going to go live on Instagram this time.
Yeah, we're going to see what happens on Instagram, how that compares to the stream that we did last time on YouTube. But if you do miss us live, then we'll be uploading it straight to YouTube straight after.
Yes. You can watch what we get up to and put us on in the background while you do yours.
I'm telling you, it will help. It will get your jobs done so much easier because it helps me. That's the reason we're doing this.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I've already sorted so much this month. I'm like 2024 completed it, mate.
Hey there. I'm like, I need to do this podcast, but also could we make a segment where I can get some of my life done as well, because I'm running out of time. But yeah, so that's Thursday, and then we'll be going to the Flamingo AF party
Saturday.
for their
Lindsay's
birthday.
lessons. Well, not Lindsay's lessons. Lindsay illuminates it.
Sorry,
Going
mate.
live Friday.
Yeah, I skipped a day. Illuminates. Is that what it's called? Lindsay illuminates it.
Illuminates it.
Your first one did really well. You've got this like admirer on your comments. Have you seen?
No.
Dr. something, Hussein something. I don't know. He's really into you.
Okay.
He's giving you lots of
Go on
support.
there and check, because I had also uploaded it on my YouTube channel, the A Different Human Design YouTube channel, and it's done really well on there as well. So feeling very positive.
Yeah,
And slightly nervous about Friday's topic, 'cause it's a little bit more controversial, but there we go.
Do we get
That's who I
to
am.
find out the topic, or are we teasing that?
External systems. So you already know my thoughts on the education system, so it's going to be an interesting 10 minutes.
I'm here for it. I'm ready for it. And I get some joy out of these ones as well, because I have nothing to do with making them.
Yeah, it's like genuine, just watch it and not have to worry.
Yeah, I get
No
to
editing.
enjoy it like you guys do as well. do piles for a doom room.
Yeah,
Get the
do piles.
organising
Yeah,
pile.
exactly. The piles, and then you can then leave the piles there for the next 6 years. So until the next time we do, because that's the thing, we're gonna do
3
it
piles.
monthly. So
Yeah, exactly.
in March we'll be tackling piles. That's what's like.
My word.
On
So
that note,
I was gonna say, next week is anniversary week.
no, February the 7th next week. So what are we gonna do? Is it next week that we're gonna do conspiracies?
That was it.
Oh wait, oh excellent.
Yeah, you've heard me ramble on about socialism, about all this like H3, all these stupid toxic gossip train. I want to know.
What consumes my mind and what consumes my attention?
Yeah,
Goodness me,
let's
I get writing some lists.
let's expose some of your niche sewing. You're looking just as crazy as the rest of
Yes.
us.
So next week we will be. I'm just going to be bringing maybe the top 5 conspiracy theories to Steph's attention, and just kind of yay or nay. Does she believe them? Does she think they're totally wappy? Nothing too serious, like in terms of we're going on a deep dive on a conspiracy theory. It's entertainment purposes only.
For each one, will you be able to give me like information? It's not just like here's a video. You'll be able to be like, this originates from this, or
Can give you like a bit of a backstory, but it'll be, for example, spoiler alert, flat earther. Are you a flat earth? Are you a glober? You know, it's a real
okay.
big thing. Like there's a whole community of people that believe in, that call themselves flat earthers, and a whole community of people that call themselves globers. And I'll be honest, sometimes I'm convinced the earth is flat, but until I physically get in a rocket and look for myself, you know, this is the thing, I'm quite open-minded, and I just kind of go, yeah, cool, might be that, might not be, who knows.
yeah. And you know what? I like that you rest on the could be. What do I know? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Rather
no one
than
knows
like.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. It won't be about that. We do want your thoughts in the comments.
Yeah,
too,
definitely.
Especially if you are a serious conspiracy theorist about. We want to hear it. We're not here for an
Yeah,
argument.
definitely. If you have a conspiracy theory that you are certain there is no doubt and you can prove, you know, you've got your evidence, you've done your research, please bring them to me.
Yeah.
I am fascinated by them, and I'm, you know, change my mind as it is.
Yeah,
It's
no,
the
it's
thing.
gonna be a fun one, because I don't know whether you'll know all of these conspiracy theories, so it'll be good.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm excited for it. So if you know any,
Yeah,
send
send
them.
them over.
And
We'll see you next week.
see you next week. Fucking conspiracy. Yeah, if you were like me and didn't do as well this week, you still got stuff to learn from, then congratulations, you're awesome just like me. And if you're like Lindsay and you're always awesome anyway, congratulations, you're awesome again. This is Lindsay.
And this is Steph.
We're a different human design.
And this is a different podcast.
See you next week. Bye.
Why is it like this? Instead of hate, it should be love, we invite it. You don't agree, then you're the problem that we're fighting. Open up your mind, stand up, become righteous. Why is it like this? Instead of hate, it should be love, we invite it.